Hi students. So in the previous class we have discussed the superposition principle of the waves. Principle of superposition of the waves tells that when two or more waves falling one over the other, what is the resultant displacement of the particles of the medium. Okay. So today we will continue our topic, principle of superposition of the waves. Okay. So in the earlier class we have written mathematical equation for principle of superposition. The resultant displacement of two or more waves is the vector sum of the displacements of individual waves. Suppose two waves are falling on a particle, then resultant displacement of the particle is equal to y1 bar plus y2 bar. Y1 is the displacement of first wave. Okay. I'll take two waves. Y1 is A1 sin omega t. Actually, wave equation is omega t plus or minus kx. Here kx is not there. So x is not there means x term is not there means this wave is falling at x is equal to 0. That means this wave is falling on the particle at origin. Okay, at origin. And one more wave also falling at the same origin. This wave is having a slightly different in phase, sin omega t plus phi. So this phi indicates a extra phase of this second wave than the first wave. Okay, the phase difference between these two waves is phi. The phase difference means suppose phase is angle, and phase difference of two waves means one wave falls like this and one more wave falls like this. Okay, so here this is first wave, and first wave is falling zero phase. That means it is starting from the origin. The pulse is starting from the origin means it is having zero phase. Okay, and second wave is falling on the same particle with additional phase phi, so it is having additional phase phi. If these two waves are falling on this particle, then what is the net displacement of the particle, that particle? Okay, see here, so y is equal to y1 plus y2. y1 is a1 sin omega t plus y2 is a2 sin omega t plus phi. Okay, here a1 sin omega t plus a2 sin a plus b formula sin omega t cos phi plus cos omega t sin phi. Okay, now a1 sin omega t plus a2 sin omega t cos phi, I am multiplying with a2. Okay, plus a2 cos omega t sin phi. Now from these two, sin omega t is common factor, so I will write it as a1 plus a2 cos phi sin omega t plus a2 sin phi cos omega t. Okay, so here sin omega t is and cos omega t are having time, so these two are variable functions with respect to time. The remaining part, this a1 plus a2 cos phi and a2 sin phi is constant. Okay, so a2 is the amplitude of the second wave, and sin phi, a2 sin phi is the perpendicular component. Okay, rectangular component of the second amplitude, and this a1 plus a2 cos phi, a2 cos phi is component of second amplitude and amplitude of the first wave. Okay, so these two are the addition of these two will give amplitude. This also will give amplitude. So this is the amplitude of the resultant wave. Okay. So I will put, instead of these two constants, a1 plus a2 cos phi is a cos theta, a cos theta. a2 sin phi is a sin theta, a sin theta. Now I will write it as a cos theta sin omega t plus a sin theta cos omega t. Now again a common factor. So again sin a plus b formula. I will write it as sin omega t plus theta. This is the equation for resultant wave. Resultant wave. That means displacement of the particle at the origin will be this much. A is resultant amplitude and theta is the angle made by the resultant amplitude with first amplitude. Okay, with the first amplitude. This is mathematical derivation how that displacements are add up. So here displacements are adding up by vector addition method. You know that parallelogram law of vector addition. So in that way the vectors are adding up and we are getting a resultant displacement for the particle. Okay. So this I will show you in with the help of diagram. With the help of diagram. See, A1 is the amplitude of first wave. It is acting like this. Okay. A2 is the amplitude of second wave. Okay. And the angle between them is how much? That is nothing but phase difference. That is nothing but phase difference. We know y1 is what? y1 is a1 sin omega t and y2 is a2 sin omega t plus phi. Okay? So the phase difference between them is angle. How to calculate phase difference? Final phase difference, that means second wave phase is what? Omega t plus phi minus first wave phase minus omega t. What you will get? Phi. Okay, that is angle. So A1, A2 are acting at an angle phi. The resultant amplitude will be capital A. Is nothing but it is acting along the diagonal of the parallelogram, and this resultant amplitude making angle theta. Okay. So here A will be written as square root of a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos phi. You know that. Okay. And theta, tan theta is equal to a2 sin phi divided by a1 plus a2 cos phi. So this will give direction for the resultant amplitude vector. Okay. And you can write the intensity equation also. Intensity is directly proportional to square of the amplitude. If you square it both sides, then what you will get? A square is equal to a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos phi. Okay, cos phi. A square is proportional to intensity. Okay, so I is equal to I1 is the intensity of the first wave, I2 is the intensity of the second wave, 2 A1 is the amplitude. A1 is A, if you send that square to other side, it becomes root I. A is proportional to root I. That means wherever A is there, you can write root I1. Instead of A2, you can write root I2 cos phi. And this is the equation in terms of intensity. This intensity calculation will be required if the two waves are light waves. Okay, if one light wave is falling on the another light wave, then what is the resultant intensity will be calculated by using this formula. Okay. See here, the waves are adding up by vector addition. The displacements are adding up by vector method. Okay. Suppose this is one particle. On this, one wave is falling and it is trying to give the displacement y1 in positive y axis, and one more wave is falling on the same particle that is also trying to give the displacement y2. Okay. The net displacement for this particle is y. So y is equal to what? y1 plus y2. Here y1 is one vector, y2 is another vector, both are acting in the same direction with zero angle. Okay. So net displacement is y1 plus y2. Suppose on this material medium particle, one wave is pulling in upward direction, another wave is pulling in downward direction, then net displacement will be y is equal to y1 minus y2. Okay. If the waves are pulling in this direction, this is y1 and this is y2, then there is an angle theta. At that time you will get a resultant amplitude. Okay, resultant amplitude, and a resultant displacement will be y1 bar plus y2 bar, and its equation is a sin omega t plus theta. You will get this is theta. Okay, like that. This is fine. Like this, we have to add up the vectors and you will get resultant displacement for the wave. Okay. So if both the displacements are acting in the same direction, this type of interference is called this type of superposition will be giving maximum displacement. So this type of superposition is called constructive interference. Constructive interference. And one is pulling upward, another one is pulling downward. Because of that, the net displacement will be very small. Okay. So y1 minus y2. If y1 is equal to y2, then net displacement is 0. Okay. The particle never moves in any direction, either in the upward or downward. It doesn't move. Okay. If there is some angle is nothing but phase difference. Okay, phase difference. Like that. Okay. And the other one is, see here, if one displacement is pulling the particle upward, another displacement is pulling the downward, net displacement is what? Y is equal to y1 minus y2. This type of interference is called a destructive interference. Destructive interference. And what about constructive? Both are acting in the same direction. Net displacement is very high. So y is equal to y1 plus y2. This is y1 and this is y2. Here displacement is very small. If y1 is equal to y2, displacement is 0. Okay. This type of interference is called a constructive interference. So with the help of waves also we can understand. Suppose this is the crust of one wave. Okay. And this is the crust of the second wave. If the crust of the second wave falling on the crust of the first wave, then that is the constructive interference. So this is a displacement, and that means amplitude of the first wave. Okay. This is the amplitude of the second wave. Net amplitude is very high. You will get a very big crust. Okay. So resultant amplitude is A1 plus A2, like that. This is constructive interference. Okay. If crust of one wave is falling on the trough of another wave, okay, This is the crest of one wave is falling on the top of another wave. Then this is positive amplitude and this is negative amplitude. If both are equal, then net amplitude is 0. Net amplitude is 0. So resultant wave is 0. Like this. This is destructive interference, this is constructive interference. There is all these things we can write in terms of displacements or amplitudes also. Amplitude is nothing but maximum displacement. Okay. Now we'll see speed of progressive wave. Speed of progressive wave. Progressive wave is also called a traveling wave. Traveling wave. Whenever you are deriving the speed of the traveling wave, we have to focus on any point on the wave. Suppose if you observe the progressive wave like this, it is propagating like this, and we have to fix our attention at any point. So I am fixing my attention at the crest, okay, and I am observing that crest how it is forwarding in positive x direction. After some time, this crest is traveling to this point. See, after some time, that means let it be delta t. So here time is t, here time is t plus delta t, and here position is x, here position is x plus delta x. Okay. Crest is traveled to from here to here. Okay. In how much time? Delta t time. How much distance it has traveled along x axis? Delta x distance. Okay. And these two crests, that means the particles are in same state of vibration. So both are having zero phase. That means the phase difference is 0. Both are having same phase. The phase of this will be what? Omega t minus kx. Why? Because here time is t and position is x. Okay. And this phase is equal to this phase. Omega t is how much? T plus delta t minus k into x plus delta x. Okay. Now omega t minus kx is equal to omega t plus omega delta t minus kx minus k delta x, right? And we can cancel the terms, both sides omega t minus kx cancel. Omega delta t is equal to, if you send it to other side, k delta x. Delta x by delta t is equal to omega by k. You know delta x by delta t is what? Distance per unit time, that is nothing but velocity. Velocity or speed. Speed is equal to omega by k. Speed is equal to omega by k. And omega can be written as 2 pi f divided by 2 pi by lambda. 2 pi get cancelled. So what you will get? This lambda will go to numerator. So v is equal to f lambda. So speed of a traveling wave or progressive wave is equal to the multiplication of frequency of the wave and the wavelength of the wave. Wavelength is nothing but the distance between two consecutive crests or consecutive troughs. Okay, it's called wavelength. Okay. Now we'll see the speed of a transverse wave on a structured string. Or by taking the string one end, if you give a wave in the string, then wave will be propagating, that will be transverse wave. And what is the speed of that wave? We are going to calculate. Okay, speed of a transverse wave. Transverse wave on a string. On a string. So the speed of this transverse wave depending on the properties of the medium. Here medium is string. So with which material the string is manufactured. So the speed of the wave, transverse wave, depending on the nature of the medium, nature of the string. Okay. Speed of transverse wave depends on the nature of string. It depends on inertial property and elastic property of the string. Inertial property, inertia. So string material is having inertia, that means inertia already we have studied in Newton's laws of motion. It is not allowing the particles freely to vibrate along the string. Okay. And elastic property. Elastic property tells that that particle which is vibrating on the string requires some restoring force to come back to mean position. Okay. So elastic property is giving restoring force, inertial property is giving rigidity for the material particles. So speed of the wave, transverse wave, is depending on inertial property. We are calling it as mu. Mu means linear density. Inertial property is what? Linear density. That linear density is mass of the string divided by total length of the string. Okay. And one more thing, elastic property. Elastic property, because of elastic property, restoring force is developed. That restoring force is responsible for the transverse wave. Okay. So that restoring force is nothing but tension. So speed of the wave is depending on inertial property and elastic property. So V is equal to one constant and mu t, and we will get the relation among these three physical quantities with the help of dimensional analysis. I write A and B as powers. So I write dimension formula for speed mlt power -1. Okay. So m power 0. C value will take 1. C is equal to 1. And mu is what? Mass per unit length. Mass m divided by L means L power -1 T power 0 whole power a. And tension is nothing but force, mass into acceleration, m power 1 L power 1 T power -2 whole power b. Okay. This we will simplify like this. See, m power 0 L power 1 T power -1 is equal to m power a 1 into a, m power a, L power minus a, okay, T power 0, okay, m power 1 into b, L power b, T power minus 2b, okay. Now bases are same, you can add the powers. M power a plus b, L power minus a plus b, T power minus 2b. Left side, so we will write in square bracket. Left side m power 0, L power 1, T power minus 1. And we can equate the powers. A plus b is equal to 0. First equation. Minus a plus b is equal to 0. Second equation. Minus 2b is equal to minus 1. Third equation, okay. So from third equation minus minus cancel. From this we will b is equal to 1 by 2. If you substitute this in the second equation, you will get A is equal to minus 1 by 2. Okay. These two things we will substitute in the first equation. That means the main equation. What is that? V is equal to mu power A T power B. Okay. So V is equal to mu power A is minus 1 by 2 T power 1 by 2. So from this we will write it as V is equal to square root of T by mu. This is the speed of transverse wave on string. Okay. V is equal to square root of T by mu. So next topic we will continue in the next video. Okay.